Hey guys, yeah, new angle. I'm trying something different because I've got to try and read something from a computer screen. By the way, the monster which I've had for a while, monster computer that I've had now, is finally fixed. My main computer is now fixed, so I've now got an SSD as my main operating system drive. So my edits should get better. This will probably still go up raw, just because this most likely is going to be the one shot, one take. So this is usually how my hot shots go. I usually just record them, load them, bosh them, off they go. Now, this is mainly going to be around rugby, as you can tell, because I've got my rugby shirt on today, along with a couple of other little bits and pieces. Now, I am reading off of the BBC website about something to do with the optimism about the biggest challenge which is coming to the rugby, which is both union and league, along with football and everything else, because what the hell's going on with all the rest of the mess. But so if I'm not looking directly at you, I am reading off of my screen. But to get the gist of what it says is that we have to be more united, and because of the way that it's going around and things like that, with it coming into the 125th year of rugby and Super League having its 25th or 26th season, I think. 25 or 26, most likely 25. Sorry, I know I'm getting the dates wrong. I am a bit higgy piggy right now with all of my timings and everything like that because I'm a bit of a scatterbrain. Also, at the moment, I am powered by Dr. Pepper and Bamboo Rum. This is very rummy. By the way, if you know who that is, Freddy Fazbear. I survived 5 nights at Freddy's. And if I could find them, I do have a box of Twinkies, which I love Twinkies. My American ex got me into those. Also, just before we do start anything else, I also now have a new camera to do most of my filming. I'm now waiting to get the microphone, and then instead of using my cell phone, I'll be using this. Now, this doesn't record in HD, whereas that does. But I can also do 4K. You guys on a cell phone, you get 4K. This thing I can do HD on it, but I don't really want to. But yes. So this is probably going to be tested out once all of this virus mess is ended. Along with some of the other stuff. Now, yeah, you can see some of the drama which is going on behind, especially with the mess that's in this room. But along with it all as well, whilst I was having my food earlier, I was actually thinking that maybe with rugby, which I'll get onto it in a little while after I've gone through this, just because it is saying on here. Now, before I go back onto that, basically one of my ideas is, if those of you can remember back in the day when we used to have the big main name, huge brand name sponsors for teams, for Wigan it was like Norweb and things like that, but we're going to need those days to come back. To survive all of this, we're going to need those big blue chip companies. We're going to need those multinational companies. For us as Wigan, yeah, we had the Norweb days, and then when we had the JJB and the DW days, we've had that money. But there are other clubs that do have more money. Now, as for those smaller clubs, they also have money, but not so much. They are struggling, which I'll get onto that in a little while if I can find it on here without having to pause you guys. But I'll probably have to pause you anyway, just to do it. Now, part of this report that I'm reading on BBC site says that apart from us having to be a bit more united and having to be in talks with the FA and the RFU and World Rugby and other things like that, we're also going to have a few other bits and pieces as well. Now, on here, there are a couple of links and things like that, along with the possibility of Challenge Cup ties being played behind closed doors. Now, for those of you who've been following the ins and outs and the mess which has become Toronto Wolfpack, there is a possibility on one of the follow-on links where they do talk about Toronto Wolfpack discussing the possibility of not being relegated from the Super League. Now, I don't know how I feel about that, and I don't know how I would go about that. I'd love to see Toronto stay, but to have them stay up on principle may sour the effect, take away from those clubs who are fighting to get in and fighting to stay alive, so to speak. Now, yeah, Toronto are a good team. They've got some good players, but they've just been outplayed and they've been beat a few times, and they need to pick it up a little bit in places. Now, as well, with the possibility of clubs as well having to slow down their payments to their players and slow it down that way, have we reached a point where we need the big money daddy to sit there and give us the funds? Are we going to need the sugar daddy? Are we going to need, in effect, within rugby, what's happened within football? Where you get that multi-billionaire that comes in and buys you out and then sorts you out, sorts all your debts, brings in those megastar players? Or do we have to go back to basics and bring it in and make it a more basic thing and make it where it's a more local thing, where it's more local based, where we have that pool to scout from? So we have a young, you get the kids that play at the school level, and then you get them coming in and being part of the scholarships and being part of all the juniors and part of that, and then they're in the development squad when they get older, and then they break into the first. Are we going to have more where we sit it in locally, or do we get the big bucks guys in? Because there's two ways around it. Now, yeah, the NRL is always going to be that weird place where, yeah, everyone's going to go to Australia to make their money because that's the way it is. Over there, they have it set up in a certain way where they have it where they can get all of their kids in, but they can also scout for the greatest players in the world as well. We had that at one point, and the NRL have started paying more. And plus, the Aussie League seems to be faster paced, harder hitting, more rock and sock and more smash mouth. We need to get that back. Now, I don't know how that's going to go. I don't even know how it's going to work out. Are we going to have to see if we can get more funding from the government? Are we going to have to do more partnerships with other companies and other places like that? Are we going to have to do more partnerships with football clubs? Because for Wigan, yeah, all right, we've got the stadium, we share it. There's also places like in Salford where they share it with the union guys, and there's other places around where they share it with football clubs, and they share it with other clubs as well. Now, the possibility and the feasibilities of things wax and wane and come and go, but I don't know how it's going to work. Now, for me personally, yeah, I'd love to see a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire come in and buy it up and sort it all out, but I don't think that's going to happen for a while, and I don't think we're going to see that, which hurts in a way because there is a sleeping giant there and it's working well. We do have the players, but sometimes the finances let you down with what the hell's going on at the moment. This is becoming a bit of a shitstorm. Now, as for our poorer neighbours and other teams which are in the lower reaches, their finances won't stretch, and I don't even think some Super League teams are going to be able to have the finances either, judging from some of the moanings and bitchings which are going on behind the scenes. Not going to say who and what teams, but some of you out there could possibly guess who they are. Now, with some of the other stuff as well that is going on, it's like, how can we survive the crisis? Well, we've got to benefit and do it more and more with the other sports. So see if then you can actually talk with your pet, with the football club that you're with. See if they could help you out with stuff. See if you could talk to your local councils, local governments. See if you could go in with local companies, things like that. It's like, all right, yeah. I hate seeing stuff to do with sport on pay-per-view. I hate the whole PPV thing. It really annoys me, but I know it's one of the massive ways of bringing money in. Now, one of the things that people have asked, especially people that know certain things around me, my job, other things like that. Now, yes, I do work for a telecommunications company. They do TV. They do broadcasting of their own as well. Now, you know, I could say the brand of it, but, you know, we've had this before when everyone went through the ITV digital stuff and that went tits up. Now, we don't want anything to go wrong. Now, BT and Virgin and Sky. Virgin have tried to have their own sports, and they kind of like messed up and they got cold feet. BT are flying along now with sports and they're buying it all in. Now, can BT as a company put a hand in the pocket and say, we want to be part of this rugby league and we want to put more rugby union on and stop messing about with football? You got more than enough football, boys. Come on, concentrate a little bit more on some of the other sports. Yeah, I like NFL. I would love to see NFL on BT Sports, apart from the college games, because college games are fun, but they come and go. Now, I'd love to see main NFL on there as well, just because it'd be easy for me to just whack it on my PlayStation, bosh, done. Same with Watch It Rugby. I could do it that way. But there's issues with that, and there's issues if Virgin decided to get off their backside and went back in with the sport instead of just buying up sports from Sky, BT, whoever else is doing it. If they could bring it back in-house and go, oh, well, maybe we can do it, that would be nice too, because it would also make a change. It would be nice to see another company in there as well. Now, with some of the other stuff and some of the other ideas which have been floating around and bubbling about in my head, if anyone can remember the days back at Central Park, if anyone can remember what it was like to have the rugby and football at two separate stadiums, was that better than being at one place? Because off of my memory, though I only went once to Central Park, and that was with my grandfather, who is no longer with us. He died when I was 9. I'm 32 now. It says a lot. You know, so there is bits and pieces there, but things do come and go. Now, with that, was it better back at the days of Central Park for some of you older guys who can remember that? Was it better than being at the DW? Because, yeah, I love it in there, but sometimes it can feel too quiet and it feels too sterile. I don't know if we need to find a way of creating more atmosphere to create the fire within. I don't know how else we could do that, but we need some more. The guy with the drums is fucking epic because he keeps trying to do it. He gets all the racket going and stuff like that. But we need more. We also need it where people don't feel like if they make a chant at one side, they're just going to get hushed out. Because I've seen and heard a few people try to make a chant in the main stands, and they've just been, it's just fallen flat. Now, sometimes I don't know whether that's just because of the atmosphere on the field, whether it's something else, but it just seems more like the people who are at the Boston stand or in the Springy stand, everyone else is always just messing about differently. And it doesn't feel like you're part of it sometimes. Because you're waiting for the guys in the main, where drummer boy is, to kick in. And if you want to make a chant, you should have the ability to do it without feeling like you've got to shut up. And also, sometimes when the away fans are making some racket, I do appreciate the idea of someone getting up and trying to find a way of bantering back at them and shutting them up. Just because sometimes when part of the idea that crept up was when we had Warrington over and they were going on about wire rugby and stuff like that, there was a couple of kids that were close by that were chanting Wigan rugby along with them. And if we could have got that rolling along, we might have actually had a bit of banter back and forth. Giving it a bit of old school. Now, I don't exactly know how that's all going to work out and whether you could do that, but it would be nice to see it. And also the whole pride mess that we've all missed up now. How is that going to go? Are we just going to be silenced again? Is this now going to be skipped? Because that's the other thing, is this going to be skipped? Has Izzy got away with it? Because if that gets played behind closed doors, a few people are going to be a bit pissed off with that. Now, yeah, as you know, I am trans. So, yeah, I do want to stick the giant finger to him, but I want to do it in my own way. But there is differences there. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. It depends on what mood I'm in. But for the mainstay, I would love to see more money coming into the league and not messing it up and not turning it into an ego-infested hellhole like the Premier League has become. But we do need stability with finances. Teams need to know that they're going to be able to survive and we can get through this. Along with, what is your feelings about the league? Are we going to have to just can it and just forget about this season? Because a lot of people have put a lot of money down on this. Now, yeah, anecdotally, yeah, for us, that'll be fine. Because if they can the league and they say basically your positions as are, and then Wigan the champs. Ironically for us, it puts us as champions. But we're tin pot champions, we're plastic champs. We've not proved our mettle. We've not played the season out and got to the grand final and smashed our way to it. We've not earned it in that respect. We've played it and we won the games that we got to and we won the games we won. There's 2 games that we could have won. But to a lot of people, we would only be the champions as paper. We're paper champions. We're not worthy of the title of champions if we just get it just because this virus has stopped everything. Now, all right, yeah, this weekend coming up should have been the weekend that everything starts again, but it's not. Because we've now got to wait until the end of April. And then again, that might roll into May. Now, as for other bits and pieces that will fall into place, whenever the government says that sport can kick on again, that's when it will kick on. But, like I've said prior, when it does and the fans are allowed in there and at home, I want to see that place packed out and I don't want any bullshit. Me personally, because of this, I want us all to turn up and put our money where our mouth is. Get in that stadium and show everyone that we can live on. And even if our games can't be played there and there's times when we're away and we have 2 or 3 away games and you want to go watch it, there are teams a little bit below us in the leagues below as well, which to some of you might seem a bit strange that I am saying go support them too. Go to some of our local rivals and support them too. Help them. We are supposed to be one united family under the chase of egg. Come on, guys. Do it. If you go out there and help them, they will help us in the long run. It is always nice and good to see things and know that as a rugby family, we can help each other out and we can do what's best for the sport. Now, for the rest of you who just go, I don't give a shit, then that's fine. That's your prerogative and that's your view. But if I was given the opportunity to go watch another rugby game at another club, I'd just sit there as a neutral and cheer the home team, just because it's always nice to know that there are people out there that are willing to help you, even if it's only sticking 20 quid in to get a ticket. Now, yeah, all right, this has messed up what happened with the Pride stuff. It's probably going to mess up what's happening with the Magic Weekend as well. Also, for me personally, it's messed up that Pride, along with the possibility of me going to St Helens and watching Wigan St Helens. Because I wanted to do that as a pre-birthday trip. I can't do that now because the world's a mess because of this virus. But we'll get through it, we'll smash it, and we'll come out the other side and we will scream the walls apart. And we will break down every wall and we will win every fight. As they say. Now, to those who just think I am just blabbering on about shit, again, your thoughts. But everyone's thoughts down below. Come on. Which companies would you like to see put their money where their mouth is and pay into the game? What companies would you like to see on the sponsor boards here and on the sponsor boards around the stadium? What companies, TV companies, so like BBC, ITV, Channel 4, Channel 5, whatever, would you like to see them, especially if it's like free to air as well, would you like to see them showing more games? Not just Challenge Cup or Giant Finals or whatever. Not just Sky, BT, Virgin. you can say the American networks as well, because of what's going on, because of the Canadian thing in New York and Edmonton and some of the others, there is also going to be more North American eyeballs on this as well. Now, along with some of the other stuff as well, yeah, I'm going to use a couple of another phrases as well, because, yeah, I would love sport content for my face all over the board, but hey, that doesn't quite work. Eyeballs, always on the ball, but we need to do other things as well. As a united family of rugby, we do need to help each other out. We do need to help out the lower teams and things like that. Now, going back to one of the other things as well, with the possibility of Toronto trying to skip out of it. Now, Super League, Toronto Wolfpack Chief says, club discussing no 2020 relegation. Now, as we know, they are bottom of the league. Yeah, this is going to go on for a little while. This is going to be one of my longer videos. But, hey, I'm going to keep this going because there hasn't been much in the way of content that I can do. So I'm just going to keep this one rolling. Now, yeah. Okay, so they have a 0-6 record, and alone it does look like they are basically prime for the relegation, but there are a couple of other teams around them. Now, as well as them having the two-time Rugby Union World Cup winner, Sonny Bill Williams, which they signed in November. As well, it would be nice, but with this virus pandemic, it has meant that the club has had to lay off some of their office staff, along with suspend every fixture which is going on at the moment. But in the end, it could end up meaning that we have to play more games in the UK than anywhere else. Now, yeah, there is also that, plus also the hardships as well. Because there's going to be a lot of Canadian guys in amongst this lot, they will be wanting to stay at home and they will be wanting to go home to see their families. Now, most of them most likely already are at home and are under their own lockdown. But not playing games in Canada for those guys is a bit detrimental, because it would be nice to have the balance of that. Now, that's the other thing that's always puzzled me as well, was the logistics of that ties into the same way as what it would be if London had their NFL franchise. That's going to mean it's an absolute buttload of work to do. There's so much travel time logistics, all the equipment, all that shit that goes with that. There's so much for them to be there. I love the fact that they're there. I love the fact that they're in the league, but it sometimes doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel real. Standing in the stadium, looking at the away end with nobody in it, it's hollow. You know, it's like we're just playing an exhibition game where we just get a free pass because there's no one there. You can't banter and make noise against a brick wall, because that's what it was just an empty, hollow brick wall with no one there. Now, yeah, some of you would say they should go down. I'm half and half. I'd love to see him stay up, but again, just like us, if we were the champions, it's only on paper. We've only played 7 games of the season, so there's not much worth in it. The season hasn't fully begun yet and hasn't fully kicked in. A lot of people say that when Easter and the Magic Weekend's over, that's when the season's fully in gas and fully flying. But I don't know. To be honest, I just don't know with them, because there's a lot of money with them, because that's basically, they are the money daddies of the league at the moment. But again, it falls apart when you break them, when they break it up. They've got some good players and they've got the ability, but they just haven't played to their strengths yet. And maybe if it can all run on and they can keep going and they can just keep floating it and they can get back to Canada and get the games in Canada going and get it there. But there's all the questions of the possibility of them maybe just having whatever is left of this season and playing every game over here, which to the Canadian fans would be a bit unfair, especially to the guys that have paid to put the money down to go over there and go watch it all. It does fall apart when you break it down like this, but for the rest of it, it's all cool. I don't know whether they should go down or whether they should stay up, because for them to be relegated, all right, yeah, the performances and their points are 0 points, and they've got a massive minus points against. But if they could get some W's on that board, maybe they could scare some teams into it. Maybe they could miss out. Maybe they can survive, but I don't know. Do you guys want them to survive, truthfully? Now, be truthful on that. Do you want them to survive, or are they there just as an annoyance to you? Because if we are to grow the league and make it more successful, we are going to have to put up with this expansion. But we do have the French in there. We do have other things looking at it as well, because you've got the Italians are looking at it. There's the possibility of more Spanish being in there and having Germans in there as well. There's also a lot of things as well. There's a bit of talk going on somewhere in a rumour mill that I've heard a while ago. Now, this is a couple of months ago. That there is the possibility it might only just be an exhibition game, but to be played at the Johan Cruyff Arena. To have an exhibition rugby league game in Holland at the Johan Cruyff Arena. Now, that would be epic, yes. But again, it's money. Which teams will go? Is it going to be an international game? Is it going to be, in England, Australia? Is it going to be a club game? Is it going to be a Club World Championships final? Is it going to be something like that? Is it going to be more of a playoff? Hell, the Club World Championships would be a bit more fun if we get more of the North American and we get more European and we get a little bit Australasian. It might work out nicer that we do get a little more Club World Championships, because it might breathe a bit more into the World Cup spirit as well. Now, with all that being said, I have prattled on for a while and I'm going to let you go. So, peace.